Should I go ahead and be rude and tell people it's time for the meditation? People are shaking their head. Go ahead and be rude. Hi, Lisa. Okay, I'll be rude. I'll be mindfully rude because we're going to start our mindfulness meditation. So I will just let you know that I really enjoy silence. I think there's a power to it. And I'm giving Jackson some time off. So anyways, I will just invite you to first sit in your chair comfortably. It's good to have your feet flat on the floor in front of you, spaced comfortably. Everything in the meditation that I enjoy and find comfort and value and deep insight in is very organic. There's nothing forced. So I encourage you to sit as comfortably as you can with your back against the chair, straight, not ramrod, but not slouched, your feet flat on the floor. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. If not, simply avert your gaze to the floor. And we're going to breathe through the nose, which means you close the mouth again very gently. This is all very gentle and organic. Close your mouth, and we're going to breathe through the nose just as you always breathe. This isn't about breathing. This is about using the breath to stay focused in the moment, in the now. So with that said, I'll just invite you to close your eyes. Rest your palms very gently on your lap, your hands, rather, with palms open, just ever so slightly curled. Everything is very gentle, very easy, very organic. And yet, we also want to be attentive. That's the goal, mindful in the moment. And as you breathe in and out with your mouth closed, perhaps your tongue gently resting against your upper teeth, just notice how that breath moves through your body, how that breath breathes through your body, where the breath comes from, and how it flows through your body and out through your nose. That warmth of the breath as it flows out through your nose, and how it feels as it flows through your body. And then very gently and silently say to yourself with each in-breath in and each out-breath out. So it's simply in, out. And as will invariably happen, you might think of something. So as you have a thought or 50 thoughts, all you do is you simply notice the thought very gently and acknowledge it with a very generic label of thinking. And as it goes by, just silently, softly repeat to yourself. And as it goes by, just silently, softly repeat to yourself, thinking, thinking, thinking. And then go back to focusing on the breath, in, out. And the same goes if you hear a sound or a noise that distracts you from focusing on the breath. Hearing, hearing, hearing. Or if you have a physical sensation or an emotional feeling, 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 feeling. And then go back to the breath, focusing on the breath, watching the breath, in, out, in, out. So, this last minute or so, I just invite you to, again, very gently and slowly smile. Just a gentle upturn of the mouth still closed. Just smile for a few remaining seconds of this meditation, still focusing on the breath, the in-breath and the out-breath. In, out. And when you're ready, just very gently and easily bring your attention to the room. Open your eyes. Maybe shake your body a little bit from being still for so long. And enjoy a most wonderful service, a wonderful day, and this very moment. Thank you.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Hi, I'm Chris Pierce. I'm part of the leadership team here at CSLP. And just a few quick announcements. Hopefully the dates match there. I'm just going to give days of the week here. Tuesday, we have a 10 o'clock spiritual enrichment Zoom. Contact Sharon Tice, who's here, if you'd like to join it. In the evening at 5:30 on Tuesday, we have a Science of Mind magazine study on Zoom. Contact me if you want to join that. It's a study of Science of Mind magazine. And also on Tuesday, Richard does a semantics practice. And Wednesday is a women's support circle, Women's Support Circle 2 at 4 o'clock. And on the second, free ukulele lesson, just a love offering. And on Thursday, February 2nd, there's a beloved community Zoom meeting. And the information to join that is in here. And that's led by Reverend Kath. And after our meeting today, we're going to have a Q&A with the board and Sally. And so if you want to come up for a quick Q&A, just a few minutes, because we have a speaker with Reverend Donald Graves after who's going to be doing the service. He's going to be doing a class, a workshop at 12 o'clock, a few minutes after 12. So we'll have a Q&A here if you have any questions. It's the fifth Sunday, and we promised that we would do that every fifth Sunday. And with that, I have Clay has some announcement here. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to let you all know that I am still looking for volunteers for the tech booth. So if anybody would like to come back and push some buttons during service, you still get to enjoy all the beauty and wonder that goes on here. But you get something to do with your hands, which is good for me. I don't know. I like that. So please, if you're interested in helping out in the tech booth, come talk to me after service, and I'll be glad to set up a training for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Clay. Clay, I could push lots of buttons. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm just punchy. Okay, so I want to welcome everybody. This is just a service that I have really been looking forward to. I heard Reverend Donald when he came last time, and I'm just looking forward to this moment, this day, this time. It's a beautiful day. As I look outside, I just feel so blessed to live in this beautiful space and time right here. And so with that, I join you in coming together in prayer, just for a moment, as we recognize that this is the very moment that we are called together to gather in this recognition that there is only one living, loving presence right here, right now, as it always has been, as it always will be. I call this presence God, good. It has so many infinite names, it cannot be contained in one name or many, for it is eternal, infinite, and ever, ever loving. And it is the very living, loving presence within me and within each and every one of you here now, within each and every being, each and everything. And as we come together in this realization of absolute oneness, we know that we are called together to hear Reverend Donald's message as it speaks to us individually, as it guides us, as it prompts us to do what we are meant to do, led by Spirit, with grateful hearts. And as we come together in community, knowing that we truly are a community of one heart, one mind, of love. This is what we are. We are made of love, and we gather together in love and as love. And we know that this service is blessed and ever, ever unfolding ever so majestically as God's service, as that service of absolute goodness that knows no opposite, as this very divine hour of knowing the absolute truth and celebrating it together. And so with my heart overflowing with gratitude, I simply release my word, and together we all say, and so it is.
Good morning, everybody. feel free to stand and tap your toes and take part in the Center for Spiritual Living Prescott calisthenics program. This is one that slips out of my... Because we do need more light. Goes like this. Well, this little light of mine, well, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm putting little breaks in, see? So we can think about what we just said. Well, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, well, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Wow, it said everywhere I go, not some places I go. See, I'm thinking about these words as I sing them, and I'm like, everywhere? Okay. You see, every day after church, I drive on the I-17, which means that if you can shine your light on the I-17 going down that hill, you can do it just about everywhere. Well, I hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Well, I hide it under a bushel, I'm gonna let it shine. I hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Well, we got the light of love, and we're gonna let it shine. We got the light of love, and we're gonna let it shine. We got the light of love, and we're gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Let it shine, 'cause we got the light of love. I think y'all agree with that this morning. Good morning. My name is Mel Hirsch, and I'm one of the 9 active, very active practitioners in the Center for Spiritual Living here in Prescott, Arizona. And if you're joining us in the sanctuary, wonderful. And if you're joining us electronically online somewhere, just as wonderful. We're a different breed of cat. I got to let you know that going in if you're brand new here. A little while ago in a Q&A up here, I was asked the question, what most affected you about being in Science of Mind? And wow. And I realized that the answer wasn't enough. And one of our beliefs here and sayings here is love spoken here. And the greatest impact on most of our lives is the realization as you're in this stuff that we thought we knew what love was, and we didn't. There is so much more to that simple little 4-letter word. And as you're around teachings like this, and we don't have a monopoly on it, you learn and you experience not so much from the outside in, but from the inside out. aspects of love that you had no idea existed. And so I know that's what keeps me here, and I would invite all of you to see how that sits with you. What practitioners do, we teach, we pray. And you'll have the opportunity to be with us. Normally after the service, we invite people up for what we like to call a 3-minute miracle. That's a no-charge thing around here. Because of the board Q&A, the folks that are going to be involved in that will stay in the sanctuary after, and we'll move the 3-minute miracles out to the practitioner's room where there will be somebody, and also to what used to be the minister's office. So that's the only real change we're going to make. Also, if you are seeking prayer, we get together once a week and we take in the prayer requests that you have written to us or emailed to us if you're online. The request form is a little purple guy that's in the seat back in front of you. Write out one of those. Not only will Sabrina be involved as the practitioner of the day, and she'll be one of the folks that'll be available later, but all of us will, in confidence, we get them emailed to us or we meet in person, depending, and we will pray on that with you, for you, all week. So that's the deal, and we invite you to take us up on it. Oh, let's see what else we got going here. Like I said earlier, we don't have a monopoly on spirituality. The religions of the world, we honor each and every one. And so I invite the candle lighters to come up. The Center for Spiritual Living honors all faith traditions. As we light a candle for the world's religions, it is to acknowledge both our multiplicity and our unity.
Candle for Christianity, based on the teachings of Jesus the Christ, who taught the path of love, forgiveness, and healing by the presence within.
For Islam, the practice of submitting to the will of God is revealed to his prophets, peace be upon them, who taught there is one God, creator of the heaven and the earth.
For Judaism, a community of shared laws, traditions, and family ties, which began with the covenant between Abraham and God.
For Buddhism, the middle path that ends suffering and awakens mindfulness and compassion.
For Hinduism, the path of knowledge, action, and devotion.
For all the Native American traditions and those who walk the good red road, including the people of the sun, better known to us in the Southwest as the Yavapai.
For Baha'i, the path of unity and peace.
And for all of the goddess traditions, embracing the divine feminine as maiden, mother, crone, or wisdom teacher.
And for the science of mind, which is the philosophy of life that teaches there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it.
Thank you, ladies. Do you want to come up that, do to the next one? No, let's go to let's go right into our affirmation, okay? We are here for God. The purpose is to express the nature of God as love, abundance, and joy in everything we do. The good we seek for ourselves is what we desire for all people everywhere. So it is.
This is a song by our friend Darius Lux. It's another one of those songs with a simple message that sums up everything in 2 words called Choose Love. Sing it with me. So many choices in the world today. Too many things will blow your mind. And if you're needing just a simple truth to see you on your way, remember, choose love. Choose love. Choose love. And keep on shining a light. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. And keep on shining a light. Choose love. Well, life is a game that we're all free to play. You can hold it down or let it breathe. And if you're looking for a simple song to sing along the way, together choose love. Choose love. I choose love. And keep on shining a light. Choose love. I choose love. Choose love. And keep on shining a light. Choose love. Well, only love can move the mountains. Only love can lead the way. Well, love is always forgiveness. Make that choice right here today. And choose love. Choose love. Choose love. And keep on shining the light. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. And keep on shining the light. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. And keep on shining a light. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. And keep on shining a light. Choose love.
Jackson, thank you. Let's continue to choose love as we go into a brief and ever so loving meditation, just enjoying that vibration of love that we feel right here, right now. As we choose love, I invite you, if you wish, to gently place your hand or hands over your heart area. Feel that heart as it pulses the life energy through each and every cell and fiber of your body, knowing that this is the love that we are made of, this life force of absolute goodness, what I call God, which is absolutely another word for love, that divine, perfect love that meets each and every need, as Mary Baker Eddy wrote decades ago, centuries ago. We know that love is always the answer. And so I invite you to dwell in this knowingness, to dwell in this spacious love within you, around you, as you. Thank you as we choose love together.
Thank you, Sabrina. And one of the ways that we choose and spread love here is through classwork. And Hazel up, and she's going to perhaps surprise a couple of people. I'm not quite sure.
Thank you so much. One of our greatest joys is always welcoming people who have found their spiritual home. And so with that, I'd like to invite Georgia and Lee Barnberg to please step forward as I administer their commitment of membership. And Nina, if you could also step forward to the platform as well. The Center for Spiritual Living is holy ground where the divine can be experienced. It is a place that lovingly supports you in making a conscious choice to live a life of spiritual truth and enlightenment. Will you support this center, our spiritual home, in a loving way, warmly welcoming others who join us on their paths of truth? If so, please say, I will. Given that the people who are the heart and the soul of the center, will you commit to sharing your time, treasures, and talents with your spiritual community? I will. The center's practitioners and its board are committed to supporting you in times of joy and of sorrow, and in all the challenges of life. Will you commit to supporting every member of this center without judgment, no matter where they are in their spiritual evolution? I will. This center commits to being open and flexible to the ever-expanding vision of God. Will you commit to trusting and nurturing this unfolding process? I will. In this moment, we are uniting not only with this center, but also with every center for spiritual living across the planet in the compelling global vision, a world that works for everyone, in which we live and grow as a human family. In committing yourself to active membership at the center, you align yourself with the intentions of this spiritual community. Will you come and be a part of the demonstration of the global vision? I will. And will you, as a community here, commit to creating space in your hearts and lives for our new members.
We will.
We celebrate you as a blessing to this community. We are grateful for all you are exactly as you are and as you are not. And we honor your commitment to grow with us spiritually. And together we all affirm, and so it is. Board member Nina, it is my absolute delight to welcome and introduce to you Georgia and Lee Barnberg, and afterwards they will be outside our sanctuary doors where each of you can greet them yourself.
Thank you very much, and yes, welcome as a member of the board. We invite you definitely to come out into the sanctuary and talk with us so that we get to know you a little better. And there is also a workshop that's going on today that you might want to take a peek at. Come check it out, and welcome. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much. Welcome. And Mel, thank you so much.
And another one of the joys is having our soloists today. And they are not new to us. It's Tom and Krista Agostino, everybody.
Good morning. And isn't it? What a lovely morning. So happy to be here with you.
So some years back, Krista and I, it was our first snowfall. It was a beautiful snowfall. And we went on a very early morning walk around Lynx Lake. We were the first people to do the walk, so there was no footprints on the snow, just us. It was beautiful out there, just gorgeous. And you come to a place on the walk where there's a little bridge where you can look out over the lake. And standing on that bridge, I had what's called a Satori moment in Hinduism. It's called a lot of things. It's basically that moment where it all makes sense. The whole universe is shown to you. And of course you forget it a second later and you're back to you, sadly. But it was a really profound moment, and so when we got home, I sat and I wrote a song as best as I could translate what I was experiencing of that moment, say an hour later, as it faded to my being. And this song is called Snow Falls, This Moment Pure. The snow falls on the lake, the heron slowly flies, and through her eyes I see the world anew. I see it as it was, will be again. The stillness of the trees, the only sound, the wind blown through the leaves. And I am small.
I am small.
And I am great.
I am great.
And I am small.
I am small.
And will I ever know? Will I ever know just who I am? And will I ever find my way home again? This restless child,
This restless child,
this holy son,
this holy son,
a loving father,
loving Father,
a righteous man,
righteous man.
this restless child,
This restless child,
this holy son,
holy son,
a loving husband,
loving husband,
a righteous man.
righteous man.
And I am opening my heart of all desire. And I am opening my soul, this life on fire. And I am free,
I am free,
in chains no more.
chains no more.
And I am free,
I am free,
this moment pure.
moment pure.
The snow falls on the lake.
Oh, my. What a beautiful lyric. Will I ever know just who I am? So what do they teach us around here? The answer to prayer, there's only one? Come on. Yes. Maybe we're on the path. Maybe we're not quite there yet. But I am here to really enjoy the job of introducing a man who knows. And over time, more than 40 years, he, through that knowledge that started from the outside in and now comes from the inside out, has been showing folk like us how to do the same thing, which is the biggest reason I stay in this teaching, because that is an ever unfolding deal. Guys, if you hadn't thought of making the workshop and you have to change a little plan, I've seen the outline. He's been doing it for a long time, and every minister who goes through school in this region has experienced it somewhere. And I'm told that he did it here about 10 years ago. And since then, there's new material, and we get to experience that as the next book is starting to birth itself. So I'm not going to take it any further. I'm just too eager to ask him to come up here, Reverend Donald Graves.
Well, good morning on you all. I presume that you're having a great day. And if you're not, well, you get to be at choice about that. So things I discovered along this path, I was in a counseling session with one of my members up in Salt Lake City at that time. And she was going on and on and on and bemoaning how awful it was, and he was doing this and she was doing that, and she was always looking out here about all the problems out there. And it struck me. It was my story moment. It struck me, wow. And I said out loud, that's really an interesting way to use your power. And her jaw dropped to the floor. And at first, she was insulted. And then she realized the truth of my words. And the lights popped on, which is one of my favorite things to observe in this teaching and with this work, is watching people's eyes pop on. You need to know in order to have the life you want. And then it went a little bit longer and said everything you need to know in order to have the life you say you want. It's time to cut cheese. It's time to cut to the chase and put your pedal to the metal, kind of a thing. It's time to act instead of just living in the theories and the woo-woo, and that's all fun and everything over a pitcher of beer. But people, life is about living. And so my whole work, my whole 30-plus years in pulpits during this lifetime, it's always been about action. So I called myself an actionist. I'm not an activist. I'm an actionist. I promote, teach, and facilitate people acting through their lives, acting the God within into the outer. But we got to find out what those things are that we use to hold ourselves stayed and find out those things that help us step into a more fruitful life. So Albert Einstein wrote, or at least said, all models are useful, all models are wrong, some models are useful. That captures it for me. And so you're going to get a model today that's useful. Is it wrong? Yeah, because the model is not the thing. But it gives us a chance to step back and look at what we're doing in our lives and how we're thinking about life in our lives. It gives us a chance to step back and look at that stuff and possibly shift a degree or two or more. I mean, I've done so many 180s, I'm turned around, I tell you. Okay. One of the great difficulties, this is from the Science of Mind, the 4th chapter, and during January, a lot of centers will go through the basic 4 chapters, and I tied those 4 chapters in with the spiritual mind treatment, and every time there was a 5th Sunday, I would talk about release, 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 and that's not what you used to think it was. It's different than that. It's about rethinking things. One of the great difficulties in this new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. Can I get an amen? And as a matter of fact, we only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. You do not know you have power until you act. And have you ever felt powerless in your life? Just go like this. If it wasn't as a 2-year-old, when mom wouldn't bring the bottle when you wanted it, that's a sense of powerlessness. All the way up to getting reamed at work or doing something stupid and having to be held accountable for that. We were powerful enough to do the thing and we're powerful enough to take responsibility for it, but we forget that. So one of the things that you will discover in the brief overview during the talk today and during the workshop in greater depth is that we know we have power when we act. It's actually one of the definitions of the word power. So everything you need to know, these are the 5 things and that's it. Now, the workshop, I'm going to do a deep dive into each one and give you a chance to play with each one and think about each one. But first of all, your definitions are your law. This came to me as another story moment. In fall of 1981, in a Science of Mind 1 class, which is one of the ancient previous versions of the classwork of Foundations today. And that was a 6-month class. It was not just 10 weeks or 8 weeks. It was 6 months. 3 hours once a week for those 6 months. And by the time you were done with that, if you could not do spiritual mind treatment, you have not paid attention. Because the key that we offer is this teaching. The key we offer through this teaching is spiritual mind treatment, which is a way to liberate who we have thought we are or have been up to this point in time and what we can become. We'll talk about that more. Your definitions are your law. Second, there are only 2 things to do in this life to have the life you want. There's only 2 things you have to do. Only 2. We'll get into that. You're always at choice, and there are only 2 choices. Whew. All this time you thought you had a multitude of choices, and an infinite number of choices. There are only 2. I'm going to give you that one. It's a freebie. You can either resist the truth or accept the truth. How does the first one work out for you? Does resisting the truth work for you? I think it does. It strengthens us in realizing we can be stupid and still live and still move forward in life, and we can correct those mistakes. And the beauty and joy of making mistakes is that we get to learn something new or get to realize something that we've been in denial about. We get to move closer to accepting the truth in its wholeness. The fourth one, life is simple, life is natural, life is perfect. And what I mean by life is perfect, it's whole, complete, as is, nothing's missing. Nothing. And last, it's all God, and you make up the rest. The chair you're sitting in, it's God. We would call it inanimate, but that doesn't make any less a manifestation of the infinite, correct? That chair started out as an idea. And where did that idea come from? Can you say the 5-syllable God? I practiced on that one. Okay, let's get into the first one, your definitions or your law. Any experience, in and of itself is neutral. Have you ever had an experience that you thought made you small, made you wrong? The person who doesn't use their signal indicator, it's like, what is wrong with life that people don't use their signal indicator? Have you gone down I-17? Exactly. So, every experience in and of itself is neutral. It has no power. Experiences have no power over us. The decisions, conclusions we draw about that event, that experience, or ourselves, or other people, or life itself, and our relationship with all of that, it's that decision or conclusion where the power lives. It lays in waiting. It waits for us to actualize it. And through our thinking, by drawing a conclusion, we assign a definition, and all of a sudden, we're demonstrating that as true. You ever heard that you become what you believe? If you've been around here more than about 10 seconds, you have, I'm sure. Okay, let's look at the cycle of experience itself. This is where the idea of your definitions or your law came from. You start out with an experience. And that experience, you make a decision or draw a conclusion about that experience. So what decision or conclusion have you drawn so far about today's experience in church according to you? You've drawn a conclusion, you've made a decision, whatever that may happen to be. That definition, that conclusion came from somewhere, usually. Normally, we don't stop and think about the decisions we're making. Normally, it's just automatic. We decide, this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, this is black, this is white. She's okay, he's not. You know how women are. You know how men are. You know, it's like those kinds of conclusions I'm talking about literally drive us into a forward experience very similar. Make that decision, draw a conclusion. We establish in our minds this definition. We assign meaning to that experience. It gives us a perspective. Perspective and perception are different. Perspective is where I stand in the room, and I see things differently from over here than I see from over here or from out there, etc. Those perspectives determine what we perceive, which causes the experience we have. Now, oftentimes, have you ever been there, done that? Where you married the same person over and over again? You had the same job over and over again at different companies? You seeing a pattern here? Man, been there, did that. Started thinking about if we are in control of our experience, and I believe we are 100% responsible for our experience, then we are the ones who ended up recreating this thing. We recreate it so we can work out whatever we didn't work out last time. It's karma in the real term without having to go through several lifetimes physically. It's several emotional or mental lifetimes. And that's marvelous. It's another opportunity. It's as if the universe is saying, if I can anthropomorphize the universe for just a moment, it's like saying, if I can anthropomorphize the universe for just a moment, it's like saying, God, I love you so much, I'm going to give you a chance to do that again. It's a do-over. And I figure personally, as a religious scientist, it's not a mistake unless you've made three times. You got to do it at least 3 times. Otherwise, you're not done with it. But then I'm slow. So the experience cycle, we'll go into a little more depth during the workshop. Okay. Item number 2, there are only 2 things you have to do in order to have the life you want. Really? 2 things, and that's it. Know what you want and accept it. Any questions? I mean, think about it. If we are unwilling, oftentimes, if not always, subjectively resistant to having a new experience, stepping into a new life, embracing a new relational experience, whether it's at work or in personal relationships or in a community at large, you accept what you want. If you accept that into your life, you stand a chance of having the life you say you want. However, have you ever said you wanted something and then you got it and you found out you didn't? Change your mind. You can let that go and accept something new. Get a different job. I'll let you follow on whatever that might happen to be for you. So these are the only 2 things you need to do in order to have the life you want or have the life you say you want. You're always a choice, and there are only 2 choices, accept or resist the truth. I cannot emphasize enough accepting or resisting the truth. What if you don't know what the truth is? As I look around the room, I see some smiling faces, I see some glistening eyes, I see some people realizing that they're in this room and they may not have signed up for this. You're going to talk about everything I need to know? Well, are you accepting the fact that you're resisting the truth? That's a good start to start turning it around. Are you resisting the fact that you are accepting the truth or resisting the fact that you're resisting the truth? And any combination therein. But those are the only 2 choices you have to make in life in order to have what you want, and that is to accept or resist the truth. The truth sometimes is that wake-up call you least want to get. Maybe it's time for a new car. Inside story. The motorhome in the lot is Jan's and mine. And we had a similar motorhome, but 1 foot shorter, a couple of years ago. And it was Jan's first experience of driving a motorhome. Pulls into a gas station in Green River, Utah, and it's a small, quick stop kind of a gas station. And the person who was in the right-hand side of the lane that we climbed into, almost literally climbed into, was almost in the middle of the lane, but it was the only open lane. So I pulled in close enough to the pump to be able to pump the gas and far enough away from this guy, so at least, there was this much room between our rig and their car. Started pumping gas and got everything done. It was Jan's turn to drive. So she pulls out, not realizing the rear end of the rig swings wide when you turn this thing, and there's a reason why they have those concrete pillars, the gas pumps. And we found out why they have them. And it peeled our bumper back about 45 degrees. Well, we ended up finishing our trip. This is a great story, honey. It's one of your story moments. We continued our trip, and people just stayed away from us on the freeway. It gave her lots of free space to learn how to drive this darn thing. We went to Denver, spent some time with friends, went to San Diego, continued a vacation for a week, came back to Denver, finished our trip, came back home. At the time, we were living in Salt Lake City, and went to find out how much it's going to cost to get this bumper repaired. Also, one of the basements was torn apart. How much is it going to cost to get this thing repaired? Bottom line, it came out to be about $7,500. Okay, great. And I had seen an RV lot about 2 blocks down the road, and went to this RV lot, and there in that lot were 3 matching Forest River FR3s sitting there. There was a 29, a 30, and a 33-foot rig. The 29, I didn't like the layout. The 30-foot was the layout I'd been looking for in a rig, and the 33 was completely wrong for a layout. There are certain layouts you learn as you RV a little bit, learning what works, what doesn't work, and things to stay away from, and things you end up having to fix because they make them wrong. So we decided to buy that rig. So we traded this beat-up rig, we traded it as is for this new rig, and it cost us an extra $12,000. So $5,000 more, we got a brand new rig. It had only been driven to the lot. It had a washer dryer in it. Jan went, yes. And she said, anytime you want to upgrade the rig, honey, let me know. I mean, that's why we peeled back the bumper, so that we could move up to another rig. So see, there's something to be said about a Tesla. Where was I? Accept or resist the truth. Let's go to the next one. Life is simple, life is natural, life is perfect, whole, complete, as is, nothing's missing, and you are part of life. And we have 2 options as being part of life. We can either be natural or we can be normal. How many of you spent a lot of your life trying to be normal, fitting in, belonging, betraying the soul of you in order to be accepted by people who really you don't want to be accepted by? So, you with me? So, you are at choice about being natural or normal, and that's an acknowledgement of acceptance or resistance of the truth, no question. And that's what's important, is that we recognize that we are accepting or resisting the truth about being natural or normal. Be natural. Our beloved special musicians this morning, what a natural, sweet, warm, heartfelt experience that they shared with us. Was anybody not affected? That's how it works. The more you are letting God be you as you, the more God we have present. The more prosperity of imagination and creativity we have present. Being natural is your godsend. It's your life savior. It will help you live more fully. And since with this Sunday, we're closing out the prosperity program, the pledge program, then do you want to be natural or do you want to be normal? Do you want to fit in or do you want to do what works? What works is to give and find out that you have enough. But you don't know that until you try it. The most generous people I know don't have a lot, but they give of themselves. That's huge. And the last one, it's all God and you make up the rest. Meister Eckhart, God expects but one thing of you, and that is that you should come out of yourself insofar as you are a created being made, and let God be God in you. Now, I have this theory that God is infinite. We personify it, but it's not personifiable. We anthropomorphize it, but that's our making up. You learn some things that you use to suppress you. Make sense? Here you get to find out more about that which helps to liberate you. And I'm talking about here as in this center with this philosophy. If you start digging into it, you're going to find one of the most liberating messages you will ever encounter. And that can be scary. So you can either resist or you can accept the truth. So consciously choose and have your life. Everyone benefits. More God is available because of it. And the last slide for today is a reminder, your definitions are your law. There are only two things to do to have the life you want. You're always at choice, and there are only two choices to make. Life is simple, life is natural. You are part of life, therefore you are natural at your core. So it's time to let that out. And it's all God's, and you make up the rest. How are you making it up right now? Be blessed. Now, I've been told that if a person cannot give a spiritual mind treatment in 2 minutes, they don't know the truth. This is an old time, literally, he was a fundamentalist religious scientist, and I consider myself one. So I take that to heart. So I invite you to join with me, and I may use different words than yours. I invite you to join with me as we go into that place that I know as the center of everything, the infinite God. So if you just take a deep breath and let go. And I stand right now aware of the infinite intelligence, infinite power, and infinite presence that fills the universe and everything in it. I know it in me. I know it in and as everyone. And here in this room, I know the feeling of that starts settling into the body. The presence itself, I would call that feeling of rapport or harmony, peace, love. The power itself, I know as the animation of my body, that the blood moves through all of the vessels, etc., and so on. So that infinite power, that infinite presence, that infinite intelligence, I recognize with every thought. It moves thought. It sees beauty and creativity. All of that exists right here, right now, within me, within everyone here. And I feel so grateful for it. I breathe deeper because of it. I encourage others because of it. And with that joy filling me, full to overflowing, I simply let that be. And together we affirm it by saying, and so it is.
Oh my. I know you guys have been wanting to acknowledge Reverend Donald. Let's do it now. And I'm going to invite a couple of folks up just before we take our offering. So Barb and Nino, I know you have some information for us. Would you kindly come forward? And you two have the podium.
Good morning. I'm back again. My name is Nina Rochette. I am part of the leadership team here at Center for Spiritual Living. And I want to say good morning to those here at the center again and here online, not here online, online. And I'm up here for the last week for the kickoff of the Prosperity Pledge Program. Now, that doesn't mean we're stopping. It means I'm done up here. I'll be out there. So, play. We have 25 people who have signed up so far, and that puts us at our 39% of the 17,000 that we need per month. And you'll see that outside on our, I was going to say bubble. I don't think that's quite what it is, but that's what I think of when I see it, a bubble. It's just giving where we're at to reach our goal. So, if you have joined the circle of the law of circulation and creating a spiritual practice about giving, thank you. And to those that have already made the first year of the program successful, yay. This is the first year we're doing this. So I think I had a little more information up on there, but you can read that up there. So I want to do a quote from Ernest Holmes, and what a marvelous thought to bear in mind that it is done unto us. We need not coerce, we do not create the power, but we must let this great power, and that's in capitalize, operate through us. And that's pretty much all I have today. So if you do have any questions about the program, please come see me outside. We'll at the table again, and if not me, I'm sure there'll be someone else there. And for further discussion, please come talk to me. We can do this. I know we can. And now, Barbara Butterfield has a testimonial that she would like to share with us. Barbara?
Yes, I'm Barbara Butterfield, and I don't like testimonials. So I'm going to start with my interpretation of a very short lesson from Dr. Holmes. He said, in other words, when you get over telling your story, you have made it. So I haven't made it. And the story comes in 3 parts, and it has a meaning that will give us an additional way to think about prosperity and the way we give back to this center that gives us so much. So when I was 11 or 12, I named an element that came into our home as danger. That was the name I gave it. So one day I was sitting in a big chair in the living room by myself. And this was my first meeting with Spirit. Spirit said, "Say my prayer." So sitting in that chair, I said the Lord's Prayer. which I had learned in Bible school. But I didn't understand the meaning of it. Danger stopped, turned around, and went back out the door. Lesson 1. Lesson 2. I'm an early 20-year-old. And my grandmother, who was my heroine, my dearest one, died. And in my household, we didn't use the word love, didn't know any better. And I had never gotten to tell my grandmother that I loved her. And I suffered over this years. And Spirit sent me a message. Saying there is a gathering down the hill, a circle of people. Go see what's going on. I went down the hill, and there was a circle of people, and they were in their own space, in their own way. But there was a person lying on the ground in the middle of the circle. And I pulled the people apart and tried to see who it was. And I went into the middle of the circle because it looked for all the world like my grandmother. And it was, and I kneeled down and I held her, and she held me back. And I said, I love you. She said, I love you too. Thank you, Spirit. Lesson 2. I'm beginning to catch on. I'm in my mid-30s. Had surgery on this shoulder. And the nursing staff dosed me twice, the beginning of one shift and the end of another, twice, on a medication that stops your involuntary being, whatever, all those elements you have. And I woke up the next day, having been in the emergency room for a while. While I was in the emergency room, I got lesson 3. Very clear. You are not finished yet. Go back. And I thought, what? I thought, this is an unusual dream. It was the truth. Thank you, sir. It was the truth. Why would I tell you that story? Because it's not just the future we're talking about. It's not just about abundance that we suspect we might get. It's gratitude for what we've already been given. Maybe we don't always get it as such clear messages, but boy, is it there. I urge you to consider gratitude as you consider how we will support this center to be our future.
So what I take from that is nobody in this room is done. And we always got another shot. So it's time to have our offering. And allow that, if you will, to be a statement of your ability and willingness to give not a certain amount, but something that says, this stuff has meaning for me. That and no more. The numbers are not the deal. So if the ushers will come forward and allow us to invite whatever comes in. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give and all that I receive. Thank you, life. And so it is. And Jackson, take it away.
So you guys are going to be really wet this morning because Jackson just played the wash over us, and this is my wash over me song. So we are going to be really full and wet with that divine love at the end of this. Night in the desert, no comfort inside. I'm by myself, but I know I'm not alone. Look through the darkness, and I pull on your light, and I let it wash right over me, right over me. It's pouring down, lifting my heart, turning me all around, right over me. Oh, hallelujah. Now let it wash right over me. Walk down this long road, family and friends. Come to a place that I've never been before. I pull on the light, and all that's brought me here, and I let it wash right over me. Yes, I do. Right over me. It's pouring down, lifting my heart, turning me all around, right over me. Oh, hallelujah. I let it wash right over me. Deep in the darkness, no light do I know, but I hear a small voice, it's starting to grow. And like a river reaching the sea, I let it wash right over me. Come on, sing with us. Right over me. It's pouring down, lifting my heart, turning me all around, right over me. Oh, hallelujah. I let it wash right over me. Yes, I do. Right over me. It's pouring down, lifting my heart, turning me all around, right over me. Oh, hallelujah. I let it wash right over me. Yes, I do. Now I let it wash right over me, through and through. I let it wash right over me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. And if the offering could come forward, please. It is with great gratitude that we accept these funds, knowing that we are so committed to using them wisely and allowing not only ourselves to become more closer to that which originally sourced us, but to allow the ripple effect as we send parts of that into the community and as we send it all over the world by its ripple. And as that ripple touches people we have yet to know. For that reality, I accept it, and together we say, and so it is. And those of you who know me, go ahead and say it along with me. Okay, go forth and multiply. One of our traditions, and we're going to do it kind of quickly because we're running behind. If you're with us for the first time or you're returning after a while, and you care to, you're not allowed to, nobody's allowed to nudge you and say, stand up and do this. Would you just tell us who you are and where you're from, and accept from us a gift of a book from our used bookstore, and you can't tell them from new ones, I promise. So is anybody like that here today? Oh, please. Oh my. Well, I must say welcome, Rhonda, and you picked a great day. Anybody else? Oh, where? There. Hi.
Hi, I'm Maria, and I was born in Phoenix, and before I got on the for years. And my mom, well, we call her a science minder. She introduced me to Ernestine a long, long time ago. So I have been in this, I've studied teaching a little bit, but I'm just visiting. It's been a long time. So.
Welcome. And I don't know if we have kids today, do we? We do, I hear it. Welcome the Children's Association of Awesomeness.
So today we built forts and we wrote we wrote on sticky notes and wrote some things that annoy us and that we fear and stuff like that. And we put them on chairs and then we made them into forts.
So what that represents is how we use our fears and our doubts and our uncertainty to build these forts around us to keep us safe. But really we're preventing ourselves from being part of the greater, bigger world. And so they tore down those forts as fast as they could once they realized that it's actually a lonely place, right? Yeah.
Terrific. Thank you so much. And I believe we're about to wrap, aren't we? So I am going to ask you all to stand. And Donald, Reverend Donald, if you'll join us. Say our benediction. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It's happening through my mind, my body, and my affairs. I think it, I believe it, I feel it, I know it, I accept it. Thank you, life. And if you will, just grab a hand and we'll sing our way out with the peace song.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, we're a family. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Hey, Clay. Hi, everyone. Just want to remind you we're doing a question and answer with the board here. So you're welcome to leave, but we're doing it right immediately after. Like right now.